I need all of you to get up here because it's time to check out and see how all of our display window boxes are doing for the summer of 2026. Each year I plant up some window boxes, all featuring Proven Winners plants. And every year I try and mix it up a little bit. And this year, the inspiration for this window box was actually Proven Winners National Combo of the Year. I made a few little tweaks just because I wanted it to be a little more exciting, but the basic plants are all here. The National Combo of the Year this year had Saffron Finch, which is the petunia. We have James Britannia, which is this kind of like light purple little flower in here. And then we also had this is one of my favorite super bells. This is Caroline. Really pretty combo. I also added Kufia Vermillionaire to the top, just because I like, with window boxes, to fill out the top of it. There's a couple things to learn. One, this is beautiful. Really nice combo. It's held up really well all summer long. All of the plants nothing's really taken over. There's no real superstar here. Everything is kind of playing nice. But what you will find a lot of times is the combos that you see in a magazine sometimes are kind of manicured. Let me show you what I mean. Jessica's gonna throw up a picture of like what the National Combo of the Year looked like in the magazine. And you can tell specifically with the James Britannia, it's kind of poking in and out and all around in very perfect ways, like just a little bit here, a little bit here. In reality, you can see that the James Britannia is a little bit heavier in some ways. It's poking out in some other ways, but it's not going to be that real consistent look like you see in the catalog. And honestly, I think it looks beautiful. I just always like people to realize that it's not going to look exactly like it looks in the picture. And the other thing that I want a lot of people to realize is, depending on where you're at in the country, plants grow very differently. And you would think that they would all be very consistent, but the way and the color of the flower in the south is very different than what you're going to get in the northwest. For example, James Britannia, it definitely took a little while in the northwest to get going. We have very cool nights early in the spring. It's cool temperatures all around in the springtime. Then all of a sudden we'll get really hot, then we'll go back cool. And the humidity levels are generally very, very low here. Not until the summertime, where our night temperatures picked up, has this James Britannia really become just a beautiful part of this hanging basket. But there's also a little bit of potato vine in here. Look at this beauty starting to come out. This is Medusa Green. And one thing that I will notice this year, we had Medusa Black. Medusa Black was a lot more vigorous than Medusa Green. It's barely coming out in this combo. It'll be interesting to see how fall goes, how it turns around. And another thing, like a lot of times when you're standing far away from a hanging basket like we do on the ground down here, it's really important to come up and get up close and personal, because now that I'm up here, aphids. Ugh, they just drive me bonkers. Now is the time of the year I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna get this with Captain Jack's to take care of any of the budworms. I'm also going to get some other stuff up in here to take care of these aphids, because it's a pain in my butt. When you're looking for aphids in your hanging basket, there's a couple different things. One, you'll see like the white carcasses in here. The white spots are the dead aphids. Those show up a little bit better. But if you're looking to see if they still have live aphids, a lot of times what I like to do is look on the back of the petals, and that's when you'll find the little green monsters. Right there. So each year Proven Winners puts out a couple different national combos of the year. So the one we just looked at, and this is the second combo. And again, I've made a few revisions to it, but overall, I think this one was a little more successful in terms of it looking more like the photograph, right? Hoopla Vivid Orchid, which is such a great supertunia, really consistent color, really consistent, nice, full habit. The other thing that it has in here that I really love is Mini Vista White. When we're talking about Mini Vista, we're talking about the size of the flower. So the flower size is going to be a little bit smaller. You're still going to get a lot of growth. But in terms of a white petunia, I like that it's pure white. A lot of white petunias will have a colored throat to it. Mini Vista White does not. I also love the habit. Really just beautiful, solid, full flowers. And Super Venus. Super Venus are such rock stars in making a big, beautiful hanging basket. This is Super Vena Violet Ice. Really pretty. I love how it's really consistently poking in, out, and around, and it's been blooming all summer. A lot of verbenas will go through periods where they bloom a whole lot, and then they slow down, bloom a whole lot, slow down. This one has been holding up really well all summer. There's a couple surprises in here, though. Let's see if we can find them. They were not, this was Brian adding some other stuff into the combo that maybe I didn't need to, but I figured I'd try. I'm always looking for contrasting colors, adding different textures to it. So I added some Super Bells, but you can't even barely see it. In fact, I don't see it at all right here. But I did see it. Here we go. Here's Super Bell's Great Punch. So you can tell with the petunias, it just couldn't keep up. The Hoopla Vivid Orchid and the Mini Vista were just too vigorous. But down, you can see I have a lot of verbena in this area right here, but that actually gave a chance for the Super Bells to come out. I just wanted to add a little extra something in here, just kind of pizzazz it up a little bit. I'm going to have Jessica also throw in a link down in the description to when Jessica and me first planted these. So you can see how many plants I put in our window boxes. This is actually a basket, but I did them in there too. Kind of fun to look back. That was only January. People ask me like, how long did you grow this? What are we at, 6 months? It's pretty crazy, right? 6 months and we get this. I talked about aphids in the last hanging basket. Jessica and me in some of our other videos, if you get a chance, look at our pest video on how the things to do. I would use, you can use a neem oil or horticultural oil on aphids. You can also use something that's more of a contact spray that isn't going to be organic, some sort of insecticide for aphids. Spinosads, BT, those organic bacterias will not work on aphids. So you're going to have to use some other product to make it work. There's a couple things going on in here that I'm also kind of want you to point out that I need to address now before they become too bad. One of the things that I'm starting to notice, I'm going to turn this basket here. You're going to see how this is not blooming as well right here right now. Part of it is it's up against the post. But the other part is that the baskets take so much water. Our humidity levels are rising. I'm sure you deal with this a lot more in parts of the country where you have a lot of humidity. Is a fungus called powdery mildew. Or just, there's lots of different types of mildew. But that's what's getting in here. And this foliage just stays so wet, it doesn't dry out. You end up with fungus problems. And if it gets too bad, you need to spray a fungicide. You need to get rid of that mildew because it will just eat its way up. A lot of people, if you really pull a basket apart, you can see in here, there's a lot of dead plants in here. That's okay. Like, you could go in there and trim it up, but honestly, if I'm not seeing it from the outside, I'm not worrying about that at all. The other thing that I am seeing on here is signs. In Oregon, we're the grass seed capital of the world. So you will get thrips. And thrips are a tiny little bug. You usually don't see them. I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to find them. But I'm going to show you the signs that they are here. Thrips are always on verbena. You will always see them on there. And you can see on this leaf, you can see how it's kind of spotted. Let me grab another leaf here that doesn't have. This is how a leaf should look. Solid green, no white spotting. But this white spotting on here is from a little tiny bug called a thrip. And I'm going to try and show you how to look for it. The other thing that you'll see is that white spotting on the inside of the throat. And I can see some of these just starting to move like crazy in here, but they're down in there. This is a petunia leaf. You will also see that spotting on the leaf. That should be solid green. Now, thrips, if you just let them go, can get really bad. Thrips do not like carbon dioxide. So as a grower, what we do is we'll put plants or leaves that we suspect having them. You'll cup your hands and then exhale a breath on them. All that rush of the carbon dioxide causes the thrips to go, ah! and they'll go like running out of the blossom. I don't know if we're going to see it very good here, but this is what you do. And they're really hard to see, but that's it right there. Okay. A generalized insecticide, horticultural oil for an organic option. A lot of those are going to do really well on thrips. Just remember, thrips are going to be inside the petals. They'll often get like osteosperms and everything. They'll go inside it. So you really have to get in there in order to get them out. A few thrips, not that big of a problem. A lot of thrips, they can really start to take a toll on your hanging basket. Time to turn our attention back up. These hanging baskets up top here, these are just window boxes. They're about 3-foot window boxes. I'm gonna send, Jessica gets so excited, I'm gonna send her back up on the forklift so you guys can get like a down low look in here. This combo I built because I wanted something to feature the brand new Super Bells grapefruit. It was new, I didn't get to play with it a lot this year, and honestly, this combo's not super successful. I mean, it's beautiful, but in terms of featuring the grapefruit, the jazzberry and the royal velvet supertunias that are in here really took over the combo. Typically, I put 5 different plants in here, and I'm looking at it now, and I can't even tell you what the 5th one was. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that video too. But we have Vista Jazzberry, which is just awesome petunia. Royal Velvet, which is one of the standbys. I threw the grapefruit in there, and then to bring out a little extra punch, I put Biddens Goldilocks in there. You can see it poking out a little bit, but honestly, this is mostly just petunias. I am feeding these 4 times a week, maybe more here. So a lot. At home, as many of you know, I only do it once a week, and that's usually enough. But if you want, you have a big barbecue coming up, you have a wedding, you have friends coming over, and you really want to wow them, up your fertilizer game. Water-soluble fertilizer, make sure you get a nice big punch with it, just to keep them going. But I mean, I think it's really pretty. I think it turned out well. It's just, I'm learning how to use Super Bell's grapefruit punch on this. Before we go to the next combo, you will need, this looks like 2 different petunias. It's actually the same petunia. This is a genetic mutation, this white picotee around the outside of the plant. This flower is what it looks like without that mutation. And sometimes what happens with petunias is they breed them or get new colors, they'll revert back to their original form. It's still Hoopla Vivid orchid, but just doesn't have the hoop of the hoopla. Really pretty, but don't freak out if that happens at home. Sometimes it just does. Much to Jessica's dismay, the window box that we put up on these places, I also put extras down here so I don't have to hoist her up anymore today. But it's really nice because we can really get in here and talk about it. So this particular combo I built because I wanted to take a look at the new Cool Jazz petunia. Cool Jazz is this interesting color that's really in between a purple and a pink. Either kind of works. I've paired it in here with Super Bean of Pink Cashmere, and honestly, the Super Bean of Pink Cashmere here is just, it is a rock star in this combo. I love the 2-tone effect on the Pink Cashmere. The new flowers that are coming out are going to be a real nice dark pink, and then as they age, it gets lighter and lighter until the last ones are almost white. So Super Bean of Pink Cashmere, just a really great rock star. For the center of this one, I tried something a little different. I put a salvia in the middle, and I used unplugged pink for this. Unplugs are typically more compact than the rockin' salvias, and it's definitely more compact. It was probably the right choice. I guess I was thinking I was going to get maybe a little more height out of this, but I still love all the flowers, and I can tell you the hummingbirds love this plant. I'd really love some feedback though from you, because I just don't think like the Cool Jazz has enough of a punch. Like I could have used another petunia in here that would have really kind of wowed it. It's a really nice background color. It was brand new this year. I'm glad I tried it. I like it has kind of almost a fluorescent blue center to it, but I'm just not sure I'm in love with the color. It's pretty, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but I would love some comments and feedback on if you have used it, did you like it? If you haven't used it, would you try it next year? If you used it, would you use it again? I'm not sure I would. Like, it's okay with some things, but I think jazzberry is a little bit more of a wow factor, and I'm always looking for that big punch. So there's a couple things that were not successful in here. There is Medusa plaque in this Ipomea. I don't even see it in any of these, but if I go down here, I can see it starting to come out. A lot of times what I find with early these were planted in January. Ipomeas have a really hard time because they just get stunted and everything else is going along. Petunias are fine, salvias are fine, verbenas are fine, and they're just not keeping up. I always put 5 things in these. So we have the Superbena pink cashmere, we have the salvia, we have the petunia, we have the Ipomea that didn't come out, and I would guess there's a trailer in here too that didn't come out. So when you're making combos, sometimes everything doesn't always play nice. It's a good feedback to learn what's gonna work, what doesn't work, but if you come over here, Jessica, like isn't this pink cashmere so beautiful? Oh, it's so pretty. Again, I'm fertilizing all the time. This, if you're using a drip system, there's an easy way to make it work. So we mix up a concentrated version of our fertilizer. This is, I think we're using a 20-10-20, a triple 20 would work, a 15-0-15 would work. It's that first and last number that's super important to petunias. Every time that this comes, there is a siphon here that is siphoning fertilizer out of this jug, goes right into the water stream, and we almost do it every day. It's going on 4 to 5 times a week. Sometimes I'll remove the siphon just to give them some fresh water to clean it out. But as you can tell, they look pretty good. But it just, that extra boost of fertilizer makes a big difference. So I love your comments. Which ones worked? Which ones didn't work? What would you buy for next year? And hopefully some of the pests and problems will help you keep your hanging baskets looking really good. If you're having a problem with your hanging basket, if you don't know what's going on, by all means, leave a comment. Jessica and me are always watching, and we love reading all the comments. In fact, we're oftentimes texting each other all the time. Did you see what this person wrote? Did you see what this? YouTube is such a great space for comments and feedback. It's so, for lack of a better term, I'd say safe. Like, you just don't feel like you're being attacked all the time like you are on social media a lot. YouTube, I just don't get that as much. So for all of you that were following along and leave the comments, thanks. I appreciate it.